camera. Heads up.
Did you? It's a good one.
I moved it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it me you're
Did Indiana end up winning? Welcome back to the Blue White Player Show presented by our friends over there at Sioka Dealerships. I'm Aeneas Hawkins, joined as always by my guy Keith Conlon. And a little bit out of order today, but middle linebacker Tyler Elson joining us on the set today. Tyler, how you feeling after this weekend?
I feel great. Great victory. Great Monday. Just kind of recovering, getting ready for Northwestern. So I'm high right now.
I think there's a lot of misconception out there about what a Monday off day really looks like. I think the misconception is that it's a lot of time in bed, maybe just classes, relaxing. Take us through a little bit of what actually goes on a Monday and how you start preparing for your week.
Yeah, so Monday's a great day. Just kind of get on top of everything. We get in the film room, watch a lot of film Northwestern, catch up on it. Just players, spend a lot of time with each other, focus on the recovery aspects of things, getting into cold tubs, hot tubs, stretching out. Actually find a little bit of time today just to get a little extra lifting, staying strong. So it's always doing stuff, trying to stay on top of the body, stay on top of the game, and get ready.
Yeah, well, tough game for you. It'll be a great game for you guys the other night. Now, what's different from nowadays versus when back in the day when I was playing is we used to have Sundays off. So if you don't mind, give me a Sunday for a Penn State football player right now. I mean, you guys were like, what time did you get home? Midnight, 1 o'clock?
Yeah, usually like midnight, 1 o'clock. Usually later nights after games, whether it's on the road, getting back to State College, or just kind of celebrating with the guys after a win. It's usually a late night. But Sundays they're work days for us. We get in, we get a lift, get the soreness out, we run, try to hit some velocity work, and then really just do corrections and starting to prepare for the next opponent already. So
when you had all the film digested, right?
Yeah.
By what time?
Sunday, I mean, we're already on the field by like 5 o'clock on later days. If it's an early game on a Saturday, we usually start earlier, so we'll be pretty much watch the game already by 3 o'clock, on the field, done by like 6:30. So yesterday was a little different. We played at 7:30. Obviously, it was a late game.
Mm-hmm.
So we pushed back meetings about 3:30. I didn't get home until about 8:30.
Last night,
yes, sir.
Tyler is a tough guy, so he's making it seem a lot easier than what it is. Sundays in my book are definitely the hardest day of the week, just from a length of time standpoint. And Lash, the day after a game, lifting weights, running.
It's so different now, dude. I'm telling you, we would have revolted. I mean, I swear to God, man, it would have been like, no. I'll see you Monday, 2 o'clock, just like we talked about.
We definitely considered boycott.
There's definitely a huge difference in that thinking, but it's a lot of science involved, obviously.
Yeah.
There is a lot of science behind getting up and out, and instead of like being sore and doing nothing on Sunday, which sometimes you'd be so sore from a game, you would just sit on the couch, chill, watch some NFL games all day, and then But nowadays, the studies have shown that to get up and get moving and get a lift in and some running in, it really works wonders on the bodies. I mean,
yeah, big time. I know I feel better. Like the lift is always dread to lift. You're sore from the game before. You're kind of tired. You don't really want to be there. You want to celebrate. You're happy. and you kind of dread that lift. But right after it, your body feels great. And you just honestly, like, the soreness is out. You feel strong. You feel awake. It honestly wakes you up. And
there's no doubt it does. I mean, it has to.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you got Coach Losi too, and he's yelling at you, you got the mustache going, the music's blasting.
That's the juice, man.
Yeah,
right
it pretty much sets the tone.
I got to ask. I mean, first of all, you both look like state champions. I mean, we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
You guys were staking out somebody undercover cops out back at the golf course. I saw you guys out there earlier. That's the whole reason you got to get out of here early. You got to get at 8 o'clock.
Get back on patrol.
Change your shift at Dunkin' Donuts. And you got to get
somebody
back out
somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. Somebody's got to be out there just kind of making sure State College is safe. So.
No, but is the mustache thing? I need an explanation.
I've had it for a long time.
I know. By the way, you're our first repeat player on the Blue White Player Show.
I think I talked about it last time I was on the show. I always had it. I tried differently.
Was it because of Losi?
No.
He wants to be like Losi.
No.
He won't tell you that.
People say it's actually funny. This offseason especially, I got called Coach Losi multiple times. I've got approached from the back, and they're like, "Oh, Losi," and then I turn, and like, "Oh." So I don't know. I guess that's a compliment in some ways, but some of the guys think it's funny.
They're wearing the Chuck's got like a 9-pack. You're like, no, that's not me. That's not.
Not yet.
That's not yet.
No,
I walked into Lash on Friday this week after the lift had gotten done. People were leaving the building, and Coach Losi, I'm sure he had been there since 5 a.m. like he is every day.
Always.
He's by himself. He's got 80-pound weights in his hands, and he's lunging to rock and roll music. And I'm like, this dude is just not normal. Nobody wants to do that at all.
That was definitely a new school reference to rock and roll. Yeah, they were doing rock and roll in there. Those guys are crazy. They're old people.
Anyway, Tyler, let's get right into the Iowa game. Obviously, 31-0, whiteout atmosphere. Nice. I mean, completely dominating, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. 76 total yards is insane against a Big Ten opponent. Talk to me a little bit about what the mindset throughout the week was that allowed you guys to find that success.
Yeah, we knew Iowa was a tough team. They always play Penn State well, too. They're well coached. They've always been known for being a disciplined football team. I think they're ranked third in the country at the time for penalties per game, so we knew we were having a tough bunch, but really just focusing on the process. We had a great week of preparation offensively, defensively, and special teams. So we felt very confident going into the game. And honestly, you talked about the defense, but the defense only had 35 snaps that game.
That was
the offense had 96.
I know I've never seen that. I know for a fact.
And this is funny. I was thinking about during the game, the third quarter, the defense had 4 snaps. The offense went out, did a 7-minute drive. They had a 7-minute drive. The defense went out, had a 3-and-out.
Wow.
Offense went out again, a 6-minute drive. And then we had the strip sack from Chop.
Just so people know out there, that is so important in the long run of a 13 or 12-game season, not having to play out there 4 quarters every week.
There's a statistic we talked about after the game. Through 4 games this year, compared to last year, we've played 80 less snaps as a defense. That's a full game less than we played last year in 4 games.
At this time.
So our offense is doing a great job. We're protecting the ball. We're doing a lot of good things. Special teams, great field position. So, it's very team-oriented. Like we can't play great defense if we can't play great offense.
Just the turnovers alone, dude. I mean, Iowa is known to not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You guys – the punt thing was a weird one, obviously.
It was weird, yeah.
It was a lucky play, but hey, the ball's falling your way, it's falling your way. Because there's going to be days where it doesn't go your way. But the fact that, you guys are off the field that much will pay so many dividends later in this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just confidence in the offense, and then, you guys have confidence in your offense. Were you around here for that 9 overtime loss to Illinois?
I was. That was my freshman year.
There had to have been angst between the offense and defense. The defense had to have been hating the offense. You know what I mean?
It's tough.
It's like, you got to say to these,
sure.
you got to say to this offense, like, you guys can do this.
Yeah, for sure.
You have the faith in those guys to go out there. Hey, we need a 6-minute drive to end the game. Boom, we got it.
Yeah. I mean, confidence is a huge piece of playing football. I mean, you got to have confidence with, the guys like next to you and the guys on the field when you're on the bench. So I think this year, we have a great bunch. Like I said, we're doing a lot of good things and just trying to improve every week. That's the biggest thing. If we find ways to get better, fix things while we're winning, you know what I mean? To continue to win is the most important thing. So
we have been reading that this was a revenge game for you guys. I mean, is it okay to ask? If there was
there was some stuff.
Was there stuff said and done? Was it more player related, or was it from up top?
Yeah, I mean, last time we played them,
I know.
We're both like ranked in the country. It's a big game on the road. A lot of stuff happened that game, but
It was unbelievable.
yeah, it is what it is. But we really just focused on the same process. I mean, I know Coach Franklin talks about it all the time, but just trying to like be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent approach. You don't want to approach any opponent differently than the week before. So then by the end of the season, when big games come, bowl games come, whatever comes in our future, that our process has been consistent and nothing changes. We trust the process. We trust one another, and then we're just confident in all the time.
A long time, man.
Yeah.
You're reciting these things left
Listen,
and right. Damn.
it's ingrained in
Like
him.
Forrest Gump over here. You know?
If Coach Frank is
that's awesome,
watching this,
though,
he's
man.
proud. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
Well,
we owed Iowa a beating. I mean, again, I'm the old school, the old curmudgeon in the crew here, and we always used to say when we watched that game from 2 years ago.
Yep.
They out Penn State at Penn State. That's the way I looked at it. Strong defense, great special teams, don't mess it up on offense. That was it. You guys completely embarrassed their way of football the other night, and that was fantastic. Grow, let it grow, let it fester. It's a beautiful thing,
no doubt about it.
And I know me and Aeneas will talk about it, but I mean the Northwestern game. I mean, I saw the Rutgers game, and I'm sure you've already watched it. I mean, I literally have seen high school games that were better than that game.
So
their improvement. From game 1 to game 4.
It's impressive. It is impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're coming in hot as hell after that big old 21
big comeback
point.
win. They're a confident group right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a huge win. I think it was a 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter against a good Minnesota team, a well-coached Minnesota team. So, coming off a big win, the biggest thing is to stay hot. You know what I mean? You don't want to get complacent anyway. So just talking amongst the guys, that's what we're really focusing on.
Yep.
Is keeping our edge and just finding ways to improve and to really attack this game on the road at Northwestern.
This is going to sound really weird, but you guys played 33 plays this week. You play a Northwestern team, you're 25-point favorites, and then you have a bye.
Yes, sir.
Stay in shape.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, it's a big thing because it happened to us in 94 when we were just destroying people. And then when we actually had to go play Michigan and play a 4-quarter game,
your legs are gone.
I've been so tired of my life.
Yep.
There's no doubt it was the most tired I've ever been in my life.
No doubt.
I only had 2 beers.
Only 2 of them.
That's how you know I was tired.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you, Tyler. You keep alluding to confidence being such a key factor with this group. Keith, you bring up a great point with guys having less reps at this point in the year. It allows guys to stay fresh for longer. The next thing I want to ask you about is the way you guys have rotated as a defensive unit. It speaks to Manny Diaz. He's in year 2 now. Do you feel like overall there's more comfortability with the playbook and what's expected?
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout the first 4 games of the year, we've played a lot of guys, probably more than we've ever played offensively and defensively, but especially on defense, not playing a lot of snaps, but still getting a lot of guys snaps is super important. It creates a lot of maturity in the defense, and guys just really trust, what Coach Diaz is doing for us and giving us opportunities to make plays on the field. So just having him a second year, like last year was the first year having him a second year, just really knowing what he expects of us and just going on the field and demonstrating to him that we trust him and that we trust one another and just really executing his plan. It's been special and it's really coming along. I don't think we had a turnover the first 2 weeks. And then the last 2, we've had
explosion
8,
of them.
I think 8. So it's just kind of one of those things that 1 week DNs might not be getting sacks, but we might be getting INTs in the back end. The next week we might get sacks and no turnover. So it's just one of those things that, plays are going to happen. Plays are going to come your way. Just trusting it and your time's going to come. So.
Selfless football. And that's what the best defenses do.
Absolutely.
And as an offensive guy, I'm going to tell you the worst thing to do is go against a guy who's fresh every play.
Yeah.
And you guys keep rotating. You're going 110 miles an hour. You will wear offenses out.
Oh, yeah, big time for sure.
So we've been doing this all your guest number 6 on this show. So we're talking about the NIL stuff and how much the NIL has changed you and what has affected you. I mean, again, I say it every week. We always see the ESPN. Well, this guy made our Prime's son made $12 million last year.
Yeah.
You're not making that kind of money. But, I mean, what has it done for you positively?
Yeah, I think so. We actually talked about it before I even got on the show here is I was here before NIL, and I also transitioned to now having NIL as a piece. So I've kind of saw both sides of it. So I have a lot of gratitude, and I'm very fortunate to be in this position. But it's something that's super special for college athletes right now is because it helps us in a lot of different ways. We spend a lot of time in the building. There's guys that, have to help back home or like are looking for opportunities past football.
Mhm.
And it's really kind of opening the doors for us to explore different opportunities, meet different people, and make connections. And I've learned a lot about myself through this
Sure.
process. And I've
Yeah.
also learned a lot about like what's out there besides football. Because we grew up just playing football. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. We're kind of robotic in that aspect. But, just being able to learn about business and like being able to be financially free, but also financially responsible.
Yeah.
It's super important. So I
I'm
think
50,
it's been.
I still haven't learned.
We gotta
It's
get Keith
tough. It's
involved.
tough. Yeah.
But it's fantastic you have it. I had a
Yeah.
bunch of old players up this weekend. Aeneas was at my tailgate. It was great talking to these guys, and it was just funny. I mean, we're all so happy you guys are finally getting it, but it's like, damn,
Yeah.
what we
Missing
would have
out.
done, dude. I'm telling you
know.
right now, it's like, wow. But
Yeah.
we are so happy and proud to help you guys out as much as we can. And you guys keep doing what you're doing, man. You guys are a fun team to watch. You're a good team. You're a team. That's what's great about you guys. You guys
Yeah.
care about each other, and I could just tell that the last 4 weeks by talking to you guys, man.
Yeah.
Get
Absolutely.
it done, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
stuff.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Tyler, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with another player guest on the Blue White Player Show.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Sioka is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Sioka dealerships. Experience the difference.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad. Like, Dad, what's Dad? We want to go play, Dad? Let's go ride bikes, Dad! Dad! Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Open a window! Mom, what did you see in that?
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, live, October 4th, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show presented by our friends at Sioka Dealerships. We are joined again by one of my all-time favorite teammates, my guy, Jake Wilson. Jake, how are we doing today, brother?
Great Monday, great Victory Monday. Little Victory Monday meal.
1-0.
Can't be happier.
What's on the menu?
I'm
an O-lineman. I got to know what the
Gotta
menu
ask.
was. Come on now.
I think there was some risotto. That's what I had. I had some of the lobster risotto and a lot of fruit.
Lobster.
Just
Lobster
casually.
risotto.
Yep.
Well, it's a good win. You get lobster, baby.
Jake,
You'd be eating pigeon if you lost.
yeah, a hot dog and bean line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jake, before we get into anything else, I don't think there's been a whole lot of opportunity for Penn State fans and the Penn State community to get to know who you are and a little bit about your journey to get to Penn State. So if you could take us through that back half of high school and some of the things you were doing and what it took to get here to rock that blue and white.
Yeah, sure. So it really started about sophomore year. That was the Jahan Dotson's last year in high school. He was on my high school football team.
Nazareth.
And that's when I first met Coach Franklin. I had a half decent season and then did a lot of prep to go into the next season. Was feeling really good, probably the top of my game about going into junior season. First day of pads, I actually broke my fibula and was out for most of the season. I played the last 4 games, but wasn't at the top of my game, not nearly where I was at going into the season, really. And so I knew the next summer I had to go all in on camps, like the summer recruiting camps you go to get your name out there and just give it everything I had. I was doing workouts with one of my trainers in Nazareth, trying to get as ready as possible for the season, even with a cast. I was doing hand work, hand drills for D-line, just in a cast, whatever I could to be ready. And that's when I finally got my first offer from a camp from Yale and a couple more of the Ivy Leagues. And actually, I wasn't even.
Damn, boy, you ain't kidding around.
Yeah, I was trying to put in as much time as I could. I went to like 10 of them. Oh yeah, I'm engineering major.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Jake Wilson,
it was not
ladies and
easy.
gentlemen. Come on.
Not the easiest.
Come on now.
We can get there in a minute. But I actually wasn't. I got my preferred walk-on offer from going to camp at Penn State. I wasn't even supposed to go to that camp. I was actually supposed to go to Buffalo, but my dad was like, "Hey, this is the last camp they got. Do you want to give it one last shot?" Because I think I went to 3 previous in 2 years, just trying to do whatever I could to make it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's take the shot. Let's put it on me.
What could go wrong? Right?
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? I already had a couple offers, so it wasn't really like I was taking a huge risk or anything. But it was like, why not? Why not take the chance? So I came out. I tested pretty well. I had some pretty good one-on-one reps, which is actually what earned me the preferred walk-on. Some of the guys, I think they were calling me the White Shakatoni at that camp or something for some of my moves.
Who are some of the guys?
I don't remember who it was. Honestly, it was probably Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
It was probably Fred.
Sounds like Fred.
I had like a nice little ghost move and ended up getting my preferred walk-on that season. And then going into last season of high school, I wanted to try and get a few more if I could and have a good season. I actually ended up breaking my high school sack record that year.
I thought you were breaking your leg again. That's the funny thing. Damn, dude.
How many sacks was it, Jake?
I believe it was 19.
That's impressive.
19.
How
yeah.
many games? 11, 12? Or was it playoffs involved?
There's a couple playoffs. I think I broke it in the first game of playoffs, first or second game. So it was about 13, maybe 12 games.
You.
Yeah. It was a good season. Ended up getting a few more FCS offers. But ultimately, I just wanted to put it all out there and kind of knew I had what it took. I felt like I had what it took to play here at Penn State and to find a role here. And so I decided to put it on myself and go and take that chance.
Did you grow up a Penn State fan?
Yeah, I grew up a Penn State fan. I'm
lying.
from Nazareth, PA.
You're lying?
No. Born and raised. Always been.
You're like a Miami fan secretly, right? You don't lie to me.
No, that's just NFL.
It's like one of those things. It's like, hey, I got a shot to do this. My little brother, I mean, I was a scholarship guy. My older brother was an All-American here. So my younger brother was a preferred walk-on type of thing, and he had offers at Marshall, all these other lesser schools. And I said, dude, you could always go there.
Yep.
If you go there, you could never say, I'm going to go, I want to try Penn State. Try it here, see if you're going to make it, see if you got a shot. And you knew the first month you were here, you could play here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mentally, I mean, football players know, like, okay, I can never do what that guy just did. So,
yeah. Well, I will say, I had the perspective of your career from a different lens because I was already in year 2 or 3 by the time you got to the program. And I will say, from day one when Jake Wilson got on campus, and his defensive line is not an easy position to walk on as. You're playing against guys like Keith Conn, 6'7", 300 pounds, long arms. If you're a guy, hey, listen.
Yes, you are my guy, man. I love you, Bubba.
I called him Petty a couple
Damn.
weeks ago. My mom is still mad at me for it, so I got to be nice now on camera, she says.
I told you, Mama Hawk got my back.
Anyway, but Jake Wilson, from day one, you were always a really competitive guy. We spent some time on that D squad together.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to shed some light onto the D squad and what that experience is like, because as you know, they don't get as much visibility as some of the other guys.
Yeah. So D squad is the scout team. You're going against your travel offense every practice, giving them the best look you can. And really, you're running the other team's offense. Like, it's not always the easiest thing to give the best look and play your best when you're trying to play it basically somebody else. But it really brings it together, like brings you together and puts you through something some of the guys never expected or even really knew about. And then you also get to better yourself and the team by providing the best look possible for the offense. Like, really, how they perform is a reflection on how you did that week.
And guess what? You got tough as hell by getting your booty kicked in every day.
Yeah.
There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, when I got here,
Exactly.
I got here in 1991. We were the number one recruiting class in the country. Joe's best recruiting class ever. Like, ridiculous, up and down. 2 guys didn't redshirt. So we had 30 or 29 guys on the scout team.
Yep.
And, you're sitting there and you want to play. You're chomping at the bit. You're a star player. Let's go, So you go out there on Tuesday and Wednesday, that's your day. I mean, Thursday and Friday, you tone it down a bunch. You don't want to get guys in trouble and stuff like that. But we had more freaking fun playing on the scout teams and going against our defenses. I remember our Keith Goganis and Mark D'Onofrio were our middle linebackers, and they in the comment on one of the articles, we literally faced harder offenses on Tuesday and Wednesday going against this scout team guys. I mean, we were huge.
Yep.
And they're those guys were we would literally be fighting every day. It grows your camaraderie big time, and it grows your toughness.
Absolutely.
First of all. And again, like I said, you knew right away. You knew in the first month at Penn State if you could make it. And it's because of that. You're sitting there saying you're going against a starter on, maybe not somebody as good as Olu, but
Rasheed Walker.
Yeah, you're going against somebody
Sheed.
damn pretty good, and you do well, and you're like, I may have a shot here, or you're getting absolutely laid out on a regular basis. You're going to sit there and say, maybe it's not for me here. Maybe Yale was calling me for
Exactly. It's your first test, really.
Hey,
You find out
guys
Find out real
make
quick.
the
You build
team.
that relationships.
You guys get no credit for it, but you guys make the team because practice doesn't work well if you don't have a good look. If you have guys that's out there just going through the motions, you're not going to get a good look, and you go into Saturday, you're going to get your butts kicked.
Yep. And another thing I'll say, Jake, it doesn't get spoken about enough, but that was your way of gaining respect within the program. When you got to that D squad, there are guys, the rare couple every single year who find a way to earn enough respect to carve out bigger roles. You're an example of that. Another one is Dominic DeLuca, who's now a Penn State football captain, who also started on that D squad.
Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit, because I remember the challenging part of being a part of that scout team is the fact that, on Saturdays, you're not going to get the credit. Nobody's going to clap for you when Penn State football is winning, you specifically.
Yeah.
So how do you, deep into a career, every day get up and approach it with the same intensity that it took initially when you got to school?
It's really about respect from the rest of my teammates, and then also wanting to be a winning team. It's really both of those things combined. That's where you're put, in my opinion. That's where you ended up from all of your actions, however you played. You're in there partly because of yourself. So it's really about taking on that role and just embracing it as best you can and trying to improve those aspects of yourself that you need to end up on the travel team or end up wherever your goal wants you to be, and then making the rest of your teammates better and allowing them to get the best look so that they're prepared for that game. Even if you're not going to play, make sure your teammates are prepared, because those are your guys. Those are your best friends. Those are the guys that are going to go out there and play basically for you and for the representation of the school. And you want to give them the best look and the best preparation possible so that they can go out there and kick butt.
Yeah. So Aeneas is an old school guy now. Sorry, I've got a little clap for you guys. There you go.
There's a round of applause.
Man. It's good though. So Aeneas, he's in my Letterman. We're in the football Letterman's lot. You walk around there, and he's like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" It's like, about 1 out of every 10 guys is a star.
Yep.
You have 9 of the guys who are role players, and you have to have those guys. And I'm the ultimate role player. It was fantastic. But like I said, we don't do anything as a team without you guys giving good looks out there. And you're well past giving the scout team looks now. You're balling now, so that's always fun.
And
it doesn't change you wearing a national title ring if you're a scout team or your red shirt. It
all
doesn't
those,
matter.
Those ball rings look the same.
Absolutely.
One way or another. I do
Pat
want to
showed up at our tailgate the other day. My roommate, my Brad Jones, a good friend of mine, was like, "What the hell's that in his hand?" He had those Rose Bowl rings. I was like, "Jesus!" It was like a hubcap on his hand. I was like, "Damn, man!"
Just get bigger and bigger.
Yep. I do want to ask you, Jake. You alluded to it. You have been able to carve a rollout finally, and I know that you're a guy that put in a ton of work to get there. Do those moments where you're on the field now on Saturdays, contributing in various different roles, do those moments mean more to you now because of the journey it took to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything it took to put in, fighting through injuries, fighting through all the little stuff, and just trying to make your place and make your role on the team, it just makes, when you go out there, all the more meaningful to you. And looking back, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't want it any different way. It means so much more, and you learn so much more going through all of that than it would just to be given it like that.
Talk to me here. Engineering. Where are we at? Where are we at in 10 years?
10 years?
Well, what kind of engineering, first of all?
It's electrical engineering. So
I got a double major in that. That's all. I mean, ain't no big thing there, but no, talk to me. What ideally, where do you want to be?
Ideally, I'd like to work a research engineering job. It depends where it takes me, and I'm focused on football really right now. I still got 2 years of eligibility even because of COVID. So that's kind of the main focus, but I'd really like to work in a research role or in a management role as a engineer.
I know 1,000 engineers, and there's 0 personalities amongst those 1,000 peoples. You got a personality, bro.
Look at you. You're on TV.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, you're not an engineer.
It's been a work in progress. I gotta give Hawk some credit and all my guys getting me accustomed to and opening up a little more.
Last Jake Wilson story here. The D-line room was an intimidating bunch to walk into. There's some personalities in that room. We'll leave it at that. That's universal.
It's yes.
Jake Wilson comes to school, quiet as a church mouse, real polite kid. Still a polite kid, not as quiet anymore. He has really absolutely exploded. His personality is out there now. We are going to take a little bit of credit for that. We're very proud of you. Very excited to see you here today, man.
I think the first thing I said in that room was making fun of you a little bit.
Yeah,
giving you some crap. Giving you some crap.
See how he does it? Pick on the short guy, man. It's all right. I got you. Well, Jake,
he's no longer a short, fat guy now. He's just a short guy. Look at him.
Just a short guy. I'll get some heels and I'll be the tall guy next.
Never fat.
Free interview here. The answer's like, is my shirt lower than yours?
You guys are also tall.
I got 2 phone books he's sitting on right now. It's great. The old Philadelphia ones are like that thick too. So,
Jake, last thing I do want to ask you. You know Olu Fashanu better than anybody in the country. You know his pass sets. You know what he's like in the run game. You've played against other NFL tackles every day at practice. What is it that sets Olu apart? I just saw a mock draft today that had him going number 2 overall. What about him says number 2?
I think it's just the way he puts in work every day to prepare for everything. Like there's very little that you can do to actually beat him. He just finds a way to recover no matter what it is, or he's studied so much film and put in so much effort to be the best that he can be that it's very difficult to even catch him slipping on slight things. You have to be 100% on your ball if you even want to have a chance. So
I'm watching Saturday.
He puts in so much time.
And I'm sitting next to a couple people who have children, and I said, look at number 74. If you want your son to play offensive line, just watch him. It's hands. It's unbelievable. His hand placement.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk to you guys, like on Sundays back when I was playing, we had Sundays off. So we really studied the NFL guys and stuff like that. That's what I don't like you guys not having Sunday because you can't watch the studs in the NFL learning your trade, working on your trade. But his hands are just ungodly.
Yeah.
And then they're like 9 feet long, his arms. So he gets them on you, you're done. And you're just
exactly.
You're just swimming. You're like a little kid swimming. Oh God, this is great.
He's got some crazy grip strength too. Like he just as soon as he latches on, you're not going anywhere. It's locked down.
And that's what the Illinois game when he struggled a little bit against that number 4 out there. I'm not going to say he struggled, but he got beat twice. I mean, that's
Which
huge
is
for him. That's
terrible day for
struggling for
Owens,
him.
right.
He went home and he was
I can't believe
meanwhile, I got like a 78 grade. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, man. I will say, last story before we get you off here. The moment I knew I had to retire from football, I knew it was done from this moment. Landon Tangwall and Olu Fashion, who jog onto the field, they're freshmen. They are freshmen. I'm 21 years old, been in the program for 4 years. They double team me 12 yards laughing the entire trip. And I'm like, that'll be enough of this. That'll be enough. It's time to graduate and go home. Anyway, Jake, a pleasure having you on the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. It's always great talking to you.
Good luck, man. Good luck to you. We're all watching you, brother. We're all watching you.
We'll be right back on the Blue White Players Show presented by Sioka Dealerships.
Sioka Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Sioka Toyota of Williamsport and see the Sioka dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Sioka Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Sioka Toyota, it just feels right.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad. Like, Dad, what's Dad? Want to go play, Dad? Let's go ride bikes, Dad! Dad! Yeah, when I was a kid, it was like, Dad, Dad, Dad! Run! Open a window! Mom, what did you see in that?
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, live, October 4th, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
My name's Ty Howe. I played center at Penn State from 2009 to 2013. So I'm now the tight ends coach at Penn State from Bunn, North Carolina. Bunn, North Carolina. Grew up there. My dad was a high school coach there for 30 years, and so played for him, and then had the opportunity to come up to Penn State. Big thing for me was when I came up to the campus and got a feel for how important Penn State football was to the entire community in the state of Pennsylvania. It really stuck with me. You walk out and see a stadium with 107,000, and then you pair that with elite academics and unbelievable people to be around, and tough blue collar players. It was something that attracted me, and being a kid who didn't know much about Penn State football growing up, it was very attractive because it reminded me of what I grew up playing at my high school, small, 1A, 2A high school, and just good people who loved playing football and did things the right way. And I felt like that was Penn State football and is Penn State football. I think it was Knies 493. It was a coaching class with Russ Rose. So that one always stuck out because obviously I knew I wanted to get into coaching, but be able to take a class with a legend like Coach Rose, who's obviously been wildly successful and just retired, but it was kind of cool to learn from him and hear his stories and his philosophies. So I think that sticks out as the best class I had. I would have to say probably Sean Lee. I think he was really good and some of it is I was a redshirt kid that's going against a guy who was an All-American and ends up obviously being an All-Pro type player. He definitely sticks out. Mike Maudie sticks out. Allen Robinson was a guy who was younger than me that obviously had an unbelievable season and career at Penn State. So those are kind of probably the top 3 or 4 that I'd say. Golly, best player I played against. I'd probably go with the best player I played against was Chris Borland at Wisconsin. He had a really good career. That as an offensive lineman that I went in hand-to-hand combat with was probably the best. I mean, it's always a tough question because I think back to like our D-line that I went against every day and linebackers, like it's hard to top those guys. But as far as from an opponent standpoint, probably him. The final games of the 2012 and 2013 series, the wins over Wisconsin, obviously the 2012 win was unbelievable over time. And 2013, that was obviously my last game of football I ever played. We came in as 24-point underdogs and ended up winning the game, and it was a huge celebration in the locker room. That was our bowl game, and so that was a really, really cool moment, because I was realistic. I knew kind of that was going to be it for a 6-foot center, When I finished playing, I played in the 13th season for Coach O'Brien. When I got done, I was actually a graduate assistant for Coach Franklin for about 4 months as a recruiting GA. After about 4 months, I was offered the offensive line GA position at NC State University. Went there for 2 years. There I worked with some amazing coaches. Then after those 2 years, I spent 4 years at Western Illinois University. I went out there with a guy named Charlie Fisher, who was the quarterbacks coach at Penn State when I played. And so he wanted to kind of run what we had ran at Penn State, asked me to come out there and be their O-line coach. So I did that for 2 years, and I was the co-offensive coordinator and assistant head coach for 2 years. And then I actually came back to Penn State as an offensive analyst and did that for a year with our O-line and tight ends, and then was promoted to the tight ends coach. I graduated early, enrolled into the spring semester, left high school early. And so I was doing spring ball, first padded practice, day 3. I'm a center, just got there. And, I'm lining up against, I think it was Jared Odrick at the time. We were going the old 1s versus 2s. And we go on 2. Of course, I snap it on 1, nervous freshman kid. Joe comes over, runs over, grabs me by my face mask and proceeds to tell me that if I don't get the cadence right the next time, he's going to send me home to pick berries back home in North Carolina. And I didn't grow up picking berries, or I don't know where he got it from, but it was kind of one of those, I'm going to send you back to pick berries, So that was one that always stuck with me.
Yep. Welcome back to the Blue White Player Show presented by Sioka Dealerships. Goon, we are yet to get into the Iowa game from last weekend. The players are gone now. I'll speak transparently. Obviously, the history is just from 2021 with all those players being injured, getting booed, the loss. Obviously ugly. We know that history. What did you see from the offense that Penn State had on Saturday that allowed them to have so much success? We talked about how many plays they were on the field. How does that even happen?
Well, we only had 10 points in the first half, if you really think about it. So Iowa, it was a very tough game going in, and we did struggle early. I'm very happy we did figure some things out and then exploited the hell out of them late in the second half, and then just ran away with it. We could have, obviously, we could have just knelt the ball for 4 quarters. Iowa was not going to move the ball. Remember you were probably too young, but a 6-4 game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like literally the lowest point in the history of Penn State football on the field. But, there was like one of those games that Iowa's like, we're going to give you a safety that, all you need is a field goal to win this game. We have no fear of your offense whatsoever. To even put a field goal up.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, how bad is your offense?
But that's how, I'm honest to God. Kirk Ferentz has really got to look in the mirror a little bit right now and say, is my son doing his job?
Well, you know about the contract.
Yeah, he said 25 points a game or he's going to,
Yeah, Saturday did not help.
Well behind that one now.
Yeah, just a little bit behind the mark.
That was a 3-0 team. That wasn't a bad Iowa team coming in here. I know that they had a couple injuries and this and that.
Yeah,
come on, you get 85 scholarship guys. You fill it.
You figure it out. Even if you do lose a couple key guys, you got to have some type of talent behind them that's going to allow you to compete. I really thought the only player offensively that they had that I was remotely impressed with was Eric All, who we saw from Michigan a couple years ago on that walk-off touchdown he had. Actually, a kid that's from my neighborhood, ironically enough. But nonetheless, the one question I do have is, people are starting to clamor and they're asking about it. And we saw it slowly start to happen on Saturday. But getting Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, those explosive touches that, we got so accustomed to on that Rose Bowl run last year, people are pointing fingers at that interior O-line. What does it take and how close is that offensive line to opening up a big enough gap?
I have an honest opinion. I just think that they don't want to wear those guys out. It's a long season.
Yeah.
Why?
There's been no need for it so far.
Are we trying to push them for a Heisman? They're not. They're going to take each other's votes. We're tailback by committee. So
do you think it's a play calling thing then? Maybe they're just taking it easy?
I'm very happy. Again, like I said last week, I wish we had attacked the middle of the field a little bit more. I think we did a little bit of that Saturday. But running back wise, I would like each guy to get 20 carries. There's no doubt in my mind. But do we have that ability to do that?
Right.
We can do that if we're up 31-0. Yeah, but yes, I do miss those explosive plays, and I don't see them happening. But that happens as the season wears on, as you wear a team down. Iowa still was a good defense. They were wounded and they were beat up. They were out there a lot of plays. To be honest with you, 31-0, it should have been like 58-0.
Certainly.
With their inept offense and the turnovers we had, we should have scored a lot more points.
I agree. And again, back to your point, Iowa's defense is not a group of slouches by any means. That is a top 50% unit in college football,
and they are proud,
and they're tough, and they take great pride in being a tough Iowa defense. That's their identity. So to me, as much as people want to ask questions about the O-line and some of the explosive plays that are lacking right now, I see a group offensively that Penn State has up front that is playing tough, hard-nosed football. They're protecting Drew Aller. He didn't get his pants dirty until the third or fourth quarter. Against an Iowa football team, you know how those games go. Absolutely. That's unheard of.
Ask your boy Clifford how his shoulder and chest feel.
No doubt. We need to call Sean Clifford right now and ask him to talk about it. On the other side of the ball, defensively, lights out.
Yep.
What did you see? What was the most impressive portion of it to you?
The glaring aspect of the defense that is scaring me is the interior. So our interior O-line and our interior D-line is that's our little Achilles heel this year, in my opinion. I thought they played great. I thought they were coming off the ball. They were aggressive. They made plays. They turned the ball over. They turned Iowa over repeatedly. And to turn those guys over is amazing because they don't do that. It was just a bad game by Iowa all around, but it's always fun being on the other side and making them have a bad game. So you got to give a lot of credit to Penn State and Penn State's offense and defense for making Iowa have that bad game. Again, the special teams, are we there? I don't know.
No, I don't think we are.
No.
And that's okay. Especially at the college level, very rarely, unless you're at a Georgia at their best and Alabama at their best, most programs are not going to have all three phases of the football buttoned up by this point of the season. This is not the NFL.
Yes.
These kids aren't making millions of dollars. There's a process here on every side of the football that they go. It feels like they're getting a little bit. But no, I think special teams will be fine. Caden Saunders is a guy who, in my opinion, this year has been pretty consistent, has made good decisions, had a couple decisions maybe that were questionable this weekend, but he's a young guy playing in his first whiteout. That's how it goes sometimes.
I never played in the whiteout. I played in a couple. We were more of a 12 or 1-3:30, noon 3:30 type of team. A couple night games here and there, but they had atmosphere all day. I didn't go into the stadium. That's not really my thing. But, I'm home at 7:15. I'm watching it on television. I can hear it in our backyard, and it's just amazing. And then it's just watching the pageantry and My favorite part of it is watching like national, like go on Instagram and have somebody from like Georgia or somebody from Auburn put it up there. And they say, I did the whiteout 2 years ago and it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in college sports. You hear an Auburn fan say that? That's pretty damn impressive.
It's very impressive.
And then all these other fans are like, I got to get there. I mean, it is a destination is what it's turned into. And that's absolutely awesome. And it plays into us because Iowa went in there like, oh, it's whiteout. It's no different. It's still 11 on 11.
Yep.
But it's the aspect of a night game, the crowd going crazy. Oh, my God, how many people are watching this game? And I mean, Notre Dame, Ohio State was going on at the same time. And I don't know the numbers. Coach, do we have any kind of number? Was there a head-to-head?
Ohio State, Notre Dame was literally the most watched college football event, I think. Yeah.
Ours? And then,
Ohio State,
I mean,
Notre Dame.
it was going head-to-head with those. It was unbelievable. So,
and shout out to the fans who sat through some weather that really wasn't super-duper comfortable. That's a testament to the Penn State community.
Boots told me, he said, I sat in the crowd. I didn't wear a poncho. I said, because you were like 8 bottles of liquor deep, probably. I mean, the reason we probably had I'm just happy you had a shirt on, dude. No, but it was all day. I got there, as you know, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're there. We're set our tailgate up. Aeneas comes in about 9:30. Like, hey, what's for breakfast?
I was hungry.
Wow.
I don't know what to tell you.
What's that? Oh, wow. Okay, ooh, I'll try some of that.
Yeah, I'm running.
It is awesome, though. I mean, those Letterman tailgates are they really? I mean, James says that our games are family reunions, and I'm really believing it, like big time.
They certainly are. Another thing I want to say about the whiteout now, it's such a huge recruiting win for Penn State when you get a bunch of 16, 17-year-old kids who are making a decision, who have all these new things now getting thrown at them with NIL and all those things coming into play. There's a huge benefit to having that whiteout there. Little story. I mean, my class was not the 1991 Joe Paterno class, but we were no slouches either. We had Micah Parsons, Pat Fryermuth, Jahan Dotson, and guys like that. And I remember the whiteout game, 2016, the Ohio State victory that nobody was expecting was the reason all of those guys came to Penn State. Will Levis. I mean, I remember the group chat getting made that night with 22 dudes who all had made a decision and were going to consider Penn State much more heavily. So, you know, I think it's a win for everybody involved, the community, the players, special for everyone.
Fantastic, man. Let's hit a break up real quick. We'll come back talking about Northwestern and a little watch party here Saturday at the Penn State Golf Courses.
We'll be right back on the Penn State Blue White Player Show.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Ciocca is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca dealerships. Experience the difference.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad. Like, Dad, what's Dad? We want to go play, Dad? Let's go ride bikes, Dad! Dad! Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, Dad! Run! Open a window! Mom, what did you see in that?
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, live, October 4th, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Player Show presented by Sioka Dealerships. Keith, we have a party on our hands. September.
Who the hell is this Keith guy?
You don't like Keith? You prefer Goon?
I'm in trouble when I hear Keith. I think my mom's going to come around and smack me around.
I don't want to induce any anxiety here. I'm so sorry. I
That's
understand.
okay.
I understand.
Mama Hawk, we'll fix him, Mama Hawk. We'll get him straight.
What would I do without Goon over here? September 30th, Penn State plays Northwestern. Come on down to the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses. Friends, family, halftime and in between quarters, they will be doing trivia and playing some games. You got a chance to win some prizes. And I hear, rumor has it, that my man Goon over here might be around.
I will be here. Come on, come watch the game with Goon.
Come check it out.
Yep.
No place you'd rather be.
I'm just eye candy. Aeneas, it's what I am.
Listen, I'm going to come
I'm not just a pretty face, I got it all. I got the whole package, baby.
Total package. Total package. Keith, any closing thoughts? Any preview of this Penn State Northwestern battle?
Yeah, I am a little bit scared, just so you know. I mean, Northwestern is coming off of a huge win against Minnesota. Northwestern has 2 wins already this year. They're 2-2. That's 2 more than anybody else thought they were going to have after that whole fiasco they had going down in Evanston with Fitzgerald getting fired. So the fact that they're winning 2, they've won 2 games. They came back on Minnesota last week in a huge victory for them. They're gonna have a little pep in their step. I think we got to go out there and do what we need to do. And the issue is that you've played in stadiums before, a Purdue, a Northwestern, and in Indiana, and you go out there and you just left the freaking whiteout.
Right.
110,000 people just absolutely going bonkers, fireworks, this and that. You're going to running out onto in Evanston, Illinois, and Northwestern. It's going to be like 25,000 in this crowd.
Right.
And that's tough to get up for as a player.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Coach Franklin talks about it. You want to stay off that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's tough. You go from 110,000 people to 22, and it's getting a little chillier, and it's not a huge name opponent, and you're a young person at that. It's tough to kind of stay focused and stay in that routine. Northwestern is not a group of clowns. They've gone through a lot of adversity.
Correct.
Through the offseason, obviously losing their head coach. The big comeback win to me is a little unnerving just because I know that's going to induce a lot of confidence for them.
They have a ton of confidence, a lot of pep.
They got a ton of confidence. Now, I have some more confidence in Penn State because of the guys we've talked to and the process that they have, the maturity that the team seems to have. But like you said, this is not just going to be a gimme win.
Nope.
They're going to have to show up and compete.
They will, and they will. I mean, I think James, this is as good a job as James has done so far. I really do. I really do think that. And I think that he has great team leaders on this team, like we have talked about for a couple of years now, where I think James doesn't have to do the whole pep rally, the pep and get everybody jacked up on television or on camera. He's doing that in the locker room. In the meeting rooms, he's getting these guys jacked up, ready to go.
Absolutely.
And he's doing the coaching staff's doing a hell of a job with this team.
They are. The maturity is evident. The coaching staff is
Want to know again this week, baby.
1-0. Thank you for joining us here on the Penn State Blue White Player Show, presented by our friends at Sioka Dealerships. We'll see you next week.